Okay, folks. I'm going to be. I said I'm going to do some videos, and the minutes go past quickly, so I can't do long videos because then it takes me a freaking lifetime to download them. So I'm going to do shorter pieces, and I might discuss one subject, and it'll take a number of videos to do. But I thought about this a little bit long time. What should I discuss first? And coming to great white sharks, and I think I'll first discuss the submarine, because the submarine has been a very large part of my life, and it's also been a very large part of South African legend and lore. And people have debated about it. Right from the start, let me tell you this, that there's a story going around that two journalists in Cape Town decided to write a story about this giant shark called the submarine, and they published it as a kind of an April Fool's joke. That's a load of bullshit. It never happened. I never saw that story. I was there from the start. Nobody saw that story. I don't know where the story comes from. It's rubbish. It never happened. The submarine comes from guys seen it out there, and out in False Bay. And there's a few guys. There's a guy like Takis that used to hunt great white sharks. A guy called Stumbo Mason, that used to hunt great white sharks. He saw it. There was another guy called Danis Kuman, and he was after the submarine, and he saw it, and he got his boat hauled by it. There was my father, Theo Ferreira, possibly the most notorious shark hunter in the country, and he saw it. But the bottom line is, I saw the submarine. Okay, there's one of my friends. No, it's okay. One of my friends coming here. I saw the submarine, and so I'm talking from first-hand experience. We heard these stories. We heard that the submarine was 40 feet long and 35 feet long, whatever, depending on how much the guy was drinking or who was telling the story. There were stories that had the eye the size of a dinner plate or a side plate, which is nonsense, because the great white shark's eye only gets to optimum size, and then from there the shark grows around the eye. But of course, everybody that hears about the submarine that's on the water and sees a shark sees a submarine. My father came back from fishing with his friends one day in False Bay. I was 12 years old. I had just recently caught my first great white shark, which was a small one. I became the youngest person in the world to catch a great white shark. I was 12 years old, and I caught this white shark, which was like an 8-footer. And a few weeks later, my father and a couple of his friends, I think it was a guy called Frank and another guy called Rodney, they were out in False Bay. And it was a Saturday. And that afternoon, when my father came back to the harbour, I was down there with my mother and my sisters to meet them, because most of the time I was on the boat, but that day I wasn't on the boat for whatever reason. When they arrived back, Frank climbed off the boat, and I walked up and I said, "How did it go to Frank?" And Frank said, "Ask your father what we saw today." And I said, "What?" And he said, "No, ask your dad. Dude, ask your dad what we saw today." So I went to my father, he was still on the boat. I said, "Dad, what did you see today?" And he said, "My boy, we saw the submarine." I said, "Really?" Because we had heard about it. I said, "The submarine?" He said, "I saw the submarine today." And what we were told is that just in front of the dorsal fin, on the back of its head, had blotches, 3 light blotches, and also the size. They said it was huge, bigger great white shark than any other great white shark that ever been seen. My father said, "Yes, the white blotches are there, and that shark was longer than the boat." And the boat was a 6-meter, 20-foot boat. And of course, I was excited. I was 12 years old, the submarine. And my father was convinced. He said, "I saw the submarine. We saw the submarine today. It had the marks, 3 marks on the head." It came up to the boat, bumped the boat around, cruised around. It was very bold, very sure of itself. And he says it was as wide as the boat. He said, "That shark, my boy, was as wide as that boat." And it scared me. And then he also said to me, "I'm going to catch that shark." And my dad decided that he was going to catch the submarine that day. And from then on out, the hunt for the submarine became another legend. It became a story that ran in all the newspapers in South Africa. It was on TV. And we almost lost our lives to that great beast, that beautiful, great beast called the submarine. So what I'm going to do, I want to tell you about these stories. I'm going to tell you what happened, the first encounter, the second encounter, so you actually get an understanding of this animal, this incredible beast, the submarine. And and all you guys out there that are skeptical, you can remain skeptical. I don't care. You know, the books say that the biggest great white sharks out there are 6 meters long. Yeah, well, a 6 meter great white shark, I've seen them. I've seen thousands of great white sharks. I've seen them, been there, done it. A 6 meter great white shark is dwarfed by the submarine. The submarine is the biggest great white shark I've ever seen by far. Not even close. You know, it was huge. It was just, the proportions of this animal was frightening. And I'm going to tell you all about it. But it's going to have to be video after video, because already I'm at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So I don't know, maybe I should make this video 10 minutes long. But I'm going to make this first video 5.5 minutes, and then the next video I'll try and make 10 minutes long. Alright, so stick around.